Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your host, CL King. That's right, coming to you live, working on my best DJ impersonation. Seeing how we can put that fader effect in there. Y'all hear that? That's crazy. Channeling my inner DJ. But we're coming to you live from the High Definition Studios here in Impactville. Laid down with that fat track called 2-4 by my boys -2. Dr. Eric and Daryl Minus. Yeah, it's been raining here in Impactville. I'm sitting high atop the Ruth E. Plowden Legacy Chair. And we come here to bring you literally a cathedral of resources. Like, I want you to be able to come and enter into the hallowed halls of this cathedral of resources. That's right, impacting life 24/7 with CL King. I need to make sure that everybody who sees this will be able to share it and be able to access it. Zoom does some crazy things to the privacy, so let's go ahead and make that public if y'all don't mind. And we're just going to come in and talk to you about the upcoming school year. Y'all know it's just around the corner. Moms and dads, somebody say yeah. They said yeah. Yeah, moms and dads, I know you guys are excited. Boys and girls, I know there's some places, if you happen to tune in live with us, let us know if school has started back in your region of the world. And if not, let us know when it comes back in. But I, today, am going to give you some strategies to approach this new school year. -2, though. This track, 2-4, is just too powerful. So if you'd like to be a part of what we got going on here at Impactville, there's several ways that you can do this. The podcast is impacting life 24/7, IL247, wherever you get your podcasts. Apple Podcasts has the highest rating. Spotify. So go and subscribe. It's just easy. It's just one click. And you'll never miss the time when impact is coming into your living room or your earbuds. Also, if you'd like to be able to participate in supporting us as a sponsor, all you got to do is go to clkingspeaker.com. Somebody says, well, I don't want to be a monthly sponsor. I just would like to give a one-time gift. That's very simple. That's a very simple way to sponsor. You can go to Cash App, $IL247LLC. That lets you know that the money ain't coming to me, yo. Doctors Daryl and Eric Minus of -2. We appreciate y'all, brothers. Thank you for helping me on this intro. I said, man, when we come back to the studios, man, I got to have something that just rocks. And that track really rocked. I think we used that track when we did our book launch, too. I can't remember. But anyway, this is your host. I am your host. This is your host. This is Impacting Life 24/7. The podcast that has been downloaded in all 50 states in America and 40-something countries around the world. This is September will be our 5th year as a podcast platform. Can you believe that? We made it through COVID. In fact, 2020 was one of our banner years in all respects. Exposure, appearances, downloads, revenue, all of that was great. And so we started in September of 2019, this podcast, And here we are coming up on 5 years. I think it's September 19th. We should do something cool for 5 years. Maybe I'll give away something in multiples of 5. Or you guys can give me $50 a piece. We don't know. However that works for you. It would definitely work for me if you was giving a brother a 50 spot. But anyway, this is Impacting Life 24/7 with your host, CL King. Again, I am the sheriff of Impactville. I sit high atop the Ruth Lee Plowden Legacy Chair. You all also know the one and only VP, Greg Smith. We were just together the other night at the Craven County Detention Center where we launched and we celebrated and we commemorated 2 years at the Craven County Detention Center. That's 24 months, 2 years in that facility. Every month, showing up and impacting those men and women's lives. We're very, very thankful. Chip Hughes and I, the Sheriff Chip Hughes, and I and Greg and their team, we walked through the halls together and went and seen men and women, and we talked about our long-lasting partnership. So we established with them that I'm not going nowhere as long as Sheriff Chip Hughes is there. We're going to be there. We're a part of the program. We're a part of the establishment there at the Craven County Detention Center. And my goal, my singular purpose, is to help those men and women stay free. Once they get free, they got to stay free. And that's what that's what we tell them. That is it. We don't overcomplicate it. There's not some magical algorithm to it. Yes, there's programs. Yes, there's things you need to get yourself plugged into. But if you have all of those things waiting outside the fence for you and you walk right by them and you don't take advantage of them, you'll be bad. So you got to throw yourself into it. You got to totally sell yourself out to this thing called freedom. And so we're thankful for Sheriff Chip Hughes opening up his facility to us now for 2 years. In fact, we know this, and many of you need to know, that there are now 2 facilities in North Carolina that host Stay Free, that bring in a professional speaker in to motivate the men and women who reside there. That's right. Tomorrow morning, we'll be at the Carteret Correctional Facility down there in Newport, North Carolina, and we will be doing the exact same thing. We'll be inspiring those men in there to, once you get free, stay free. So let's get right to it, because I promised the wifey that we would go have dinner together if she would let me go. I mean, if she would come with me. I'll even hold an umbrella for her because it's raining cats and dogs here in Impactville. But I want to tell you about this upcoming school year. You need to approach this upcoming school year with your kids with some confidence and some clarity and some belief that it can be a great school year. Okay? You're not going to get it all right within the first, 90 seconds of the school year. You're not going to figure it all out. And so there's no point in stressing your kids out about, oh my gosh, I got to have this list. I got to, all these different things. I can tell you, though, that if you don't have a strategy for the school year, then it's going to be a shoot from the hip experience where you're ready to pull your hair out by the 90th day. By day 100, when the kids bring home the pictures that they got 100 beads on or 100 pieces of yarn or dressed in 100 different pieces of clothing. Yeah, the 100 days will be like 100 years for mom and dad. So here's strategy number 1 I'm going to give you. Establish a routine with your kids. It's important. Routine is important. Why? Because the whole day at school is centered around a routine. So then they come home, and it's important that you have a routine that complements the next 180 days. See, consistent routines improve the sleep quality and academic performance of your kids. That was found in the National Sleep Foundation. Did y'all know that? Just making sure that consistent routines improve sleep quality and academic performance. When you've got something that's consistent, don't make the school year consistently inconsistent. that it's just running from one thing to the other, and there's all this variability in your student's life. That just won't work. It just won't work. Also, with that, in terms of a routine, scheduled study times enhance focus and discipline. Study times, giving them a space, a time where they're going to study, where they're going to absorb what they took in. I'm thankful for some teachers who don't give, a semester's worth of homework every night, because that's a challenge too. They don't need to come home and relitigate the whole day. Just kind of take it easy on the homework if you can. But when they need to come home and they're ready for studying for a test tomorrow, they're studying for the next chapter, or whatever the case may be, reviewing, it's so important to have that scheduled, have that ready for them, and clear the air for them. Maybe not a phone, maybe not the TV blaring and all that, maybe some soft music, but a scheduled study time enhances focus and discipline. And that, ladies and gentlemen, we found that little nugget there in the American Psychological Association. So it's important. Also, create a dedicated study space. I'm just giving you some strategies for the upcoming school year. You're tuned in to Impacting Life 24/7, or you have downloaded it at one of our affiliates, whether that be Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, iHeartRadio, any of those outlets, and many more. I think we're on 40 different outlets. You're listening to 10 or so strategies. We might go a little more. But you're listening to strategies with CL King here at Impact Life 24/7 of how to approach this new coming school year. Create a dedicated study space. This is one thing that I found to be acceptable for me when, like, for example, a podcaster, right? We got a whole lot of things going on, but one of them that we love, that we've been doing for 5 years now, that's coming up in September, is podcasting. And when I first started podcasting, we were like somewhere sitting on a couch in the living room with a little cheap rinky-dink microphone on the side of the arm, and it was falling off doing the interviews. It was a train wreck. So we had to understand that having a dedicated space to do this is important. It's important for me so that I can focus, and it's important for our guests so they feel like they have our undivided attention. So a distraction-free zone, and what it does is it boosts concentration and learning retention when it's a space that's designed for that. University of Minnesota said it. They said, man, have a dedicated learning space, a distraction-free environment. Also, make sure that it's well lit. A well-lit space improves alertness and reduces eye strain. That's important. That's why we have these 50,000-watt lights in the studio, so that way I'm not straining to see anything that I need to see. And that's also important for your student that's coming up this year. Make sure the space is lit. You can use earth tones in the space, but make sure it's well lit so they're not straining. Are you ready for this? You might want to start now with number 3. Set clear goals. Set clear goals with your students. Set clear goals with the teacher. Set clear goals amongst the family. The goals with the coach. Understand that this is a collaborative. This is a cooperative, right? So goal setting increases motivation and persistence. This helps in achieving academic success. Goal setting. Set a goal. Because if you fail, because a goal helps you align to a plan. And then the plan, once executed, yields success. Breaking down the goals, that's important too. Breaking down goals into manageable steps enhances that actual achievement, that attainment. Psychology Today said, listen, break those steps down into small, manageable steps. Those goals, break those down into small, manageable steps, and you'll find that your student, your child is crushing it because they can digest it. But if you got 9,700 steps and the goal is just like, let's conquer lifting Mount Everest 2 meters to the right. It's not going to work, right? Make those goals clear and make it fun, right? Make it a part of the student, your child's, let them set the goals. And then you just guide them. Say, okay, so what's your goal for the year? What's your academic goals? And you might have to give them some understanding. What's your sports goals? What's your club goals? Like, what clubs do you want to be if you're in high school? What are your goals? And then we just break those down into smaller steps, so that way they're achievable. Now, I want you to remember this one because this is important. I've watched some of you. I've only seen one family that I know of master this, and that family is E-Man and Stacy Baxter. In fact, I'm going to tag them because I'm going to give them a shout out, okay? E-Man, let's see here if I can find him. Baxter, I want you to check this out because I'm talking about you, brother. I have in this next section, I have only seen one family master this I'm 50 years old, and I've been doing this public thing for 20 years. I've only seen one family do this, and that is prioritize event management, okay? I'm talking about you, E-Man, because you and your wife do this so well. I get tired watching y'all, but y'all, it's built into your DNA, right? Stacy and E-Man, they have 2 sons, and their sons are multiple sports gurus. I mean, they're basketball, baseball, bowling, football, drumline, instruments. It's a beautiful, it's a thing of beauty to watch because it never appears chaotic. Never. E-Man is always so chill. Stacy is always so compassionate. I'm just like, I would be rolled over flat with my feet at a 90-degree angle, but they don't have that problem. So they've been able to manage events. So using planners or digital calendars, for those of you who are not like E-Man and Stacy, using planners and digital calendars helps improve your event management. That's from the Educational Journal in Psychology. Organized scheduling reduces stress and enhances productivity. So basically, just kind of like dissecting and discussing what the landscape looks like for the week, and then break that down maybe by the day. Okay, because here's one thing that I teach in my leadership course. There's a difference between time management and event management. Stacy and E-Man are master event managers. No one is a time manager. No one. When you go to a training and they say, we're going to give you 47 keys to time management, leave that training because that's not a thing. You don't manage time. You don't control time. You don't manipulate time. You don't adjust time. You don't bend time. All you do is operate in time. You manage the events. Oh, I know. So you got to be a good event manager, and you got to prioritize that so you don't get burned out, because it's already going to be a rough year anyway, because you got all of these things that you got going on, right? If you got a senior, then you got looking down at the end, you're looking at graduation, the prom, on and on and on. These events matter. And it's important for the success of your student and your child that they can not feel like they are shooting from the hip at all these events that are just kind of like compacted together. And so if you're like, man, I feel like we have no time, that's because you're trying to manage time. You're trying to see if you can squeeze a little bit more out the day. You can't. You try to see if you can if you stay up 24 hours, maybe that won't. You have no control over time. All you have is control of the events within time. And Stacy and E-Man Baxter have mastered that one. Anyway, number 5, encourage open communication. That's important. It's important that you communicate with your student, your kid, It's important that you communicate with their teachers, the administrator. It's important that you communicate with the counselors. You shouldn't drop the kids off on day 1 and not show up again until day 179 when they're getting their little cute little certificates that they're graduating out of kindergarten. Communication is important. Regular parent and student discussions improve academic outcomes and emotional well-being. You can find that one in the Child Development Journal. It will improve academic outcomes and emotional well-being when there's encouraged and worked on open communication. Communication fosters a supportive learning environment because you're communicating. For those of you passing by, I'm just giving a few keys as we start this new school year. That's all. That's why I wanted to do this, because as you guys know, I've spoken in, I can't even remember the count of how many schools: high school, middle school, college, elementary school, private school. And one thing that I appreciate as a parent of 7 children is, when my wife stayed home, I know she appreciated the school year. She's like, bring it on. The kids are like, Mom, why are you up at 3 o'clock in the morning waiting at the bus stop? Oh, nothing really. But it's important that you lay down an understanding early on that you're going to communicate, and don't allow your kids to just come and be like, how was your day? And they're like, good. And that's it. It's important for you to have a communication open line with your kid, so that way, if something is out of line, you can kind of pick up on it through communication. Also, I want to tell you this: focus on supporting healthy habits. Balanced nutrition supports cognitive function. Did y'all know that? And it supports cognitive function and academic excellence. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention said a balanced nutrition supports function and academic performance. It's important that you have a balanced nutrition. Regular physical activity also improves focus and memory and overall mental health. Movement is improvement. That's the thing. I've heard motion is lotion. Get after it. So encourage that. Support their healthy habits. Promoting organization. Don't let your child be a cluster. Organizational skills are important. They lead to better event management. Did you know that? So as a mom or dad, you're obviously going to have to kind of oversee the overarching issues, but teach your kids how to manage and organize themselves. Using organizational tools reduces procrastination, which is an issue I still suffer with. I have not been inoculated from procrastination. And it improves productivity. I'm so productive when I don't procrastinate. Can I get a witness, somebody? I do not procrastinate, and then I get more productive. But when I procrastinate, my productivity meter is in the cellar, right? So also encourage active learning. I'm just giving you a few more tips and we'll get out your hair. Active learning methods enhance understanding and retention. So be active in it. Engage in discussion and critical thinking to help improve problem-solving skills. Discussions. Don't just encourage the kids not to stand up and kick the teacher's desk over and say, this ain't right. But at the same time, if it's something that your child has a question about, encourage that stimulus, that desire to unearth more, because I feel like teachers appreciate when a kid will question something, not challenge it, but question it. Like, okay, so what is this? And then they begin to think critically and independently, not just because the book says it, but they understand why perhaps the book says it. Or they may say, I understand the book says this, but I'm discovering that there's more than one pathway to get there. Man, that's good learning. Also, as a parent, this and as a student, this coming school year, you need to monitor your progress. It's important that we keep our finger on the pulse. It's important that we don't just say, I'm going on a diet and never step on the scale again. I'm staying away from the scale. Well, if you're putting Twinkies in your mouth, you should stay away from the scale. But monitoring progress is important. It's important. You know, a pilot doesn't take off from ground level and get to cruising altitude of 32,000 feet and never look at his instruments again, never evaluate his fuel level, never make sure that the coolant and the oils are still good, right? It's important that we monitor progress. So regularly reviewing goals and grades and assignments helps identify areas of improvement. And you do that with your student. You do that with your kid. So you got to teach them to monitor the progress. You know, get their ownership, get their buy-in into it. You feel me? And then last, I'm going to say, before I give you one last thought, is to seek help when it's needed. You shouldn't have to go through this school year alone. Asking for help, I'm telling you, it improves understanding and academic performance. Ask for help. And teach your student to ask for help. And make sure that you've got what would you say? Make sure that you have fostered a culture with your kids that they're not afraid or embarrassed or ashamed to come and ask for help when they don't know it. Here's the way it used to work with me and my kids. They'd come, and if it's math, go ask your mama, because I can't help you. I'm a speaker. I don't have to know that. So asking for help improves understanding and academic performance, and accessing opportunities for tutoring and additional resources when you ask for help. Speak up. Don't suffer in silence, but speak up. I think that's a very, very important thing to remember. Speak up. And so I will also say, as we get ready to wrap this up, is that you should make this school year fun. Make it enjoyable. Make this school year enjoyable. I was talking about E-Man and Stacey Baxter. What I said was, in one of our keys to a successful school year, we talked about being an effective event manager. And I said, I have not seen two people on earth in 50 years manage their kids' events better than these two. It's a priority. They have it. And some of the events that their kids have are like on extreme opposites of the globe, and they make it happen. I've watched in awe for many years. And so that's one of the things that I'm telling you, if you help make events management a priority, you'll understand that you're not a time manager. There's a difference between being a time manager and an event manager. Time you don't manage. You only manage events in time. And E-Man and Stacey Baxter mastered it. So that's why I gave those folks a shout out. Nisi, Jordan, love you, cuz I think you're gonna be with me on Monday at our podcast hangout. So that's all I wanted for today. I just wanted to give you guys some. I know it's coming up. It's looming. It's about to be like Walmart didn't wait. They were like, oh y'all ready for school? We was ready for school when school got out. I seen book bags in Walmart 2 days after school was out. I'm like, they are thinking ahead, are they not? So the last thing I wanted to say is make school fun. Live this life. You only get one of them. I appreciate you too, E-Man. Live this life with your kids. Don't live it for them, but live it with them. So that way, when they start this school year out, man, they're not stressed about. There's already the pressures and stressors associated with performance. But man, let them have some fun. If your kid wants to try bowling this year, let them try it. If they want to do cricket Let them try it. I love what E-Man posted one time about there's no gender on instruments in the band. So if your girl wants to play the tuba, let her get after it. If your boy wants to play the clarinet, hook him up. But make this enjoyable. The years my kids were in school, outside of them sometimes acting crazy, were some of the funnest times. Make it fun. Make it lively. Enjoy life. I used to show up to my kids' events always extra. Mom and dad, always extra. At White Oak, I'd show up in my green sweatsuit. I wore that thing for all the time they was there. Always extra. But your kids know that you're their biggest cheerleaders. So make this school year fun. Make it about, hey man, this is not just work. This is making you better. You feel me? All right, so I got to get out of here. I'm going to hope that the missus says we can go out on a date if the rain has stopped here in Impactville. The gentlemen you're listening to are Doctors Eric and Daryl -2. Go get that track. You can find it at all places where you download your music. And I will say this to you before we go. We need your help. We need your support. All the places that we go to, we try to work within their budgets. And some places, they ain't even got a budget, yo. So if you'd like to become a sponsor, which we have sponsors all across the country, we're thankful for them. We love to add you to that list. You can go to clkingspeaker.com, scroll down to the bottom and become a sponsor. $1, $5, $15, it's your choice. Also, sponsors of Impacting Life 24/7 help us in our mission of Stay Free, which is our goal is to be in all 53 incarceration facilities in the state and all 100 county detention centers throughout North Carolina. To do that, it takes funds. We sometimes have calls from Eastern Carolina all the way to the Piedmont, to the coast, all in between. So our sponsors help us do that. So again, if you'd like to do that, if you go to clkingspeaker.com, or if you don't want to do a long-term sponsorship, we don't mind. You can just do a Cash App, one-time sponsorship. And that is $IL247 LLC. That's right. Impacting Life 24/7 is legit. Impacting Life 24/7 is not something we're doing out of our trunk. It is a recognized limited liability company. And so we thank you for your support. Tomorrow morning, this is an example of why we need your support. Tomorrow morning, we will be back on the road, headed to the Carteret Correctional Facility there in Newport to speak to those men about how to stay free. This is our second month there, our new location there, our second location, and now we're working on our third. How are we going to get to all these places? We don't know, but our sponsors are helping us. So look, again, if you want to become a sponsor, just go to clkingspeaker.com, or if you want to give a one-time gift, that's easy too. $IL247 LLC. Until next time, thank you, Doctors Daryl Minus and Eric Minus. We'll see you. Thank you so much. We'll let him finish. Go ahead and finish, saxophone.